Hey, what's up you guys? It's me, Sean David. Before we start with this video, if you can't get enough of old school NBA basketball, make sure you check out my other channel, the BTM, the Basketball Time Machine. I just uploaded 5 hot videos of Michael Jordan, Muggsy Bogues, Bill Laimbeer, Pete Maravich, and John Stockton. You don't want to miss that. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to a new episode of NBA Got Game TV. Thanks for tuning in. Back in the days, it was pretty tough for an NBA fan to get any information about NBA trade rumors. But thanks to the internet, nowadays it's pretty simple to do some research and find out about trade rumors that almost happened back in the days. So in this video, I want to take a look at some trades that almost happened and some trades that did happen that changed the NBA history. But before we start with this video, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Also underneath the video, you will see a link to a Facebook page. Like, I really appreciate it. And I would say without any more blah blah, let's get into it. We are going to start off our list with Tim Duncan almost joining the Orlando Magic. When Tracy McGrady joined the Orlando Magic in 2001 to team up with Grant Hill, Orlando all of a sudden became a very interesting team. But it could have been even more interesting. Just imagine Tim Duncan joining that team. So we're talking about Grant Hill, if healthy of course, Tracy McGrady, and Tim Duncan. But it didn't happen, so let's find out why.
Didn't want to have to do this to you again for the second time in a week. But
I'm dying slow on this show. All right.
I'm so sorry. Earlier this week, we showed Tracy that he could have been a Laker with Kobe and Shaq. Jerry West actually tried to acquire him. And now, according to Bruce Bowen, a former teammate, of course, of Tim Duncan, the Orlando Magic were very close, Bruce says, to signing Duncan in the summer of 2000 when T-Mac and Grant Hill both joined the team. Bruce said that Magic head coach Doc Rivers denied Tim's request during the negotiations that his family could join the team plane on some flights to games. And that is when Rivers lost Tim Duncan, who could have played next to you, Tracy, in Orlando.
He's sad over here.
I'd like you guys to know that I texted Tracy this story yesterday, and I got 2 little crying emojis, and then later I got a second text with just 2 more little crying emojis.
Man, why y'all doing this to me? So, yeah, this would have been amazing. I mean, you talk about a guy that's, you know, probably arguably the best power forward to ever play the game, has won championships prior to, you know, making that decision. Doc Rivers, what the hell were you thinking? You're supposed to give Tim Duncan everything, right? Give him ownership of the damn team if you want.
Next on our list, we'll have Scottie Pippen playing for the Seattle Supersonics. Today, it's pretty impossible to imagine Michael Jordan without his sidekick, Scottie Pippen, the legendary Scottie Pippen. But if the trade of the 1987 draft didn't happen, we would talk about a legendary Sonics team, Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp, and Scottie Pippen. Let's find out more about it.
The following trade has been consummated between Seattle and Chicago. Seattle trades to Chicago the 5th pick, the rights to the 5th pick in the draft, Scott Pippen, in exchange for the rights to the 8th pick in the draft, Olden Polynice.
The deal was the most important move Krause ever made as a GM. The athletic and rangy Pippen developed into an invaluable complement to Jordan and a Hall of Famer.
People forget, it was a big struggle for Michael. He was on losing side in 9 of his first 10 games. I mean, if a player now at that level was 1-9 in his first 10 playoff games, what would his reputation be? You know, it'd be like, he's not a winner, he's a loser.
Michael was a great on-ball defender, but he would have been worn down if he had to guard everybody. And that was the way it was heading, was that he was going to have to guard everybody, and he wouldn't have made it physically. He would have worn down, he would have broken down.
Then this was Michael Jordan, but he's playing against Bird Celtics, you know, and Pistons with Isaiah and all those guys, and, you know, the Hawks with Dominique, Sixers with Dr. J. And I mean, the league in the 80s was loaded with great teams in the Eastern Conference. And so, you know, the guy's MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, and he's getting knocked out in the second round.
A lot of guys who folded. when he was on him. And he stayed on Scottie for years and years until Scottie finally developed the kind of mental toughness it took to play with Michael Jordan. And once he had that, the physical talents were blossoming as he came into his own. And he became a devastating player and a Hall of Fame player. Absolutely a Hall of Fame player.
Together, Jordan and Pippen led the Bulls to 6 NBA championships over 8 years. Stretch of dominance matched only by Bill Russell's Celtics. Olden Polynice, on the other hand, played 4 unimpressive seasons in Seattle before he was dealt to the Clippers in 1991. But what if the Sonics hadn't made that draft day deal with the Bulls and kept Pippen for themselves?
Well, it's interesting because, you know, those Seattle teams in those days were good teams. They were playoff teams. They weren't championship contending teams. They had some good players like Dale Ellis. It depends. See, this is where it sort of depends. Like, what did they think Scottie Pippen would have been?
It would have made my game a lot easier because you got one more guy on the floor that you got to pay attention to offensively. It was unfortunate I played with teams with some players that didn't command a double team.
2 years after trading Pippen, the Sonics drafted explosive power forward Shawn Kemp with the 17th pick in 1989. And a year later, Seattle selected Gary Payton, 2nd overall, a pick they received for trading backup center Alton Lister. So if the Sonics hadn't traded Pippen in '87, they might have had a big 3 of Kemp, Payton, and Pippen.
So if you can keep Scottie Pippen, Gary Payton, and Shawn Kemp together on the team and bring in some good support guys, yeah, I can imagine them winning easily.
And next on our list, we'll have Chris Webber and Shaquille O'Neal playing for the Orlando Magic. The 1993 NBA draft was one of the craziest draft days in NBA history. If that day didn't turn out the way it did, the NBA would have looked totally different. Let's get into it.
The 3rd pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Golden State Warriors.
Philly or Orlando? Philly or Orlando?
2nd pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Unbelievable.
And believe it or not, the 1st pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Orlando Magic.
The Magic securing the #1 pick in 1993 was the most improbable result in the history of the NBA draft lottery. Orlando finished 41-41 and just missed making the playoffs. But suddenly, general manager Pat Williams was in perfect position to draft Chris Webber, a can't-miss power forward prospect out of the University of Michigan.
If I go play on this team, I'm going to average a triple-double my whole life because I'm going to get 10 boards, and it's going to be so easy getting 10 assists. I'm going to get 10 oops a game.
Everyone knew about this guy, Chris Webber, and what he could do, and his big old hands. And we still had Shaquille O'Neal. But as a shooter, I was saying, I have C-Webb on one block, Shaquille O'Neal on another block. I'm going to get so many wide-open shots. This is going to be fun.
I watched him in college, watched him in high school. And it reminded me of myself, -3 inches. He was a big guy, liked to handle, liked to make good passes, and a big guy that liked the ball.
Orlando has traded the draft rights to Chris Webber to Golden State in exchange for the draft rights to Anthony Hardaway and 3 future first-round draft picks.
I always said to myself, what if C-Webb and Shaq would have played together? We probably could have did the same damage that Shaq and Penny did. I think about it all the time.
That's interesting. Chris Webber and Shaq. I mean, it's like Shaq and baby Shaq, you know, on the same team. It would have been tough to go in the lane with Webb and Shaq. And I do think, look, with the talent, they would have figured out a way to make it work and be successful.
So part of me is old school, which I wish we'd have kept the big fella, but Penny Hardaway was special. I think that's why, without the injuries, what if? Could have been a great thing.
I mean, I think we would have done all the damage in the world. I think I would have had fun in it, but it wasn't meant to be. Shaq and I always tease each other about that. What if it would have happened?
Next on our list, we'll have Kobe Bryant playing for the New Jersey Nets.
Lakers won the game. After the game, we get Kobe Bryant as the post-game interview, and he's asked flat out, would you have accepted the fact that the Nets drafted you.
Well, it's pretty much my agent, Untitled, just being Untitled. I love the place so much, I would have played in Mars. You know, but they didn't draft me, so I'm a Laker. But if they would have drafted me, I've been playing for the Nets.
The Nets were this close to getting Kobe Bryant and building their franchise around him.
In 2001, New Jersey traded for Jason Kidd, who immediately led the Nets, including Kittles, to back-to-back Eastern Conference titles. They would lose both finals, including one to Kobe's Lakers. But what if Bryant had been playing alongside Kidd instead of against him?
It'd have been amazing. The phenomenon, I think, of Kobe Bryant and how he evolved into what he is, and knowing Jason Kidd like I do as a former teammate of mine, I think he would have scored 40,000 points.
And last on our list, we'll have Kobe Bryant again playing for the Chicago Bulls. After the Lakers won 3 championships, the relationship between Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal was at its low. It was clear that one of the two had to go, but it almost wasn't Shaq who had to go.
See, you know, the thing about that is I didn't get any of that because we were looking for homes. Right. We were actually looking for homes in Chicago, researching schools, places to live.
So that was true, you were going to go to the Bulls?
Yeah. There was a story in ESPN, I think it was ESPN magazine, and they asked you a question about me and Penny. And you said that we're essentially the same. And what did they ask? No, we're not.
But I think you took that the wrong way because of all the misquotes and all the bad stuff.
I probably did. And I probably used his motivation too.
Yeah.
Saying, listen, if this is the conversation, I don't want this conversation. When I retire, I don't want people to say, okay, you only want to come to Shaq. As unfair as that is, Magic never won without Cap, right? Michael never won without Scottie. So, but here I am getting stuck with this argument, which is not fair, but yet this is the argument that people will make, and I'm not okay with that. So therefore I knew, okay, I gotta go.
I had actually heard that, but I didn't believe it.
Oh yeah.
So, okay.
Oh yeah.
So,
we were looking for places in Chicago, man. We're flying up there to meet with Reinsdorf and
you want to
Paxson.
leave sunny California to go to cold-ass Chicago.
Hey, and thanks for watching this video. We really hope you enjoy our content, and if you'd like to support our channel, you can do these things. First, subscribe to our channel and click the notifications button so you will always be up to date when we upload a new video. And also check out our Facebook page. You will find the link underneath the video. Likes are very appreciated. Thanks a lot.